first for everything, I guess. It's actually a dumpster on a pallet. Really? That's a good pallet too. That's a $2 pallet. It wouldn't be funny me trying to push this dumpster. I'd bust my tail. Alright. So, a whole bunch of nothing. No, you know what? I'll bet there's stuff in that. I'm not digging through it. Not today. Not today. Working with my VSD video editor. It's working out. So I'm getting kind of used to it. Working on some scenes. This video is going to be a little bit different because I'm pretty excited about doing 3 months of scrap. I've been scrapping since Memorial Day. And yeah, so it'll be a little bit of scrapping today. It'll be me getting my haircut. You guys like? Huh? New haircut? And yeah, and then some video of just my life, what sobriety looked like in my life, and at the end I'm going to be very transparent and candid about how far alcohol and drugs took me down and what this decade has been like since sobriety. And it's some amazing stuff. So if you've ever seen someone on the brink of extinction from drugs and alcohol, it's an amazing event to see them come back. And it's more amazing when I've been rescued, you know. And the cool thing is that anyone can do it. That this miracle of sobriety, it's not just for a select few. It's for anyone. There's hope. So I just want to let you guys know that. Sorry to start out all gloomy, but it's not gloomy. It's actually really awesome stuff. So. At the storage unit, I put a pitchfork on the Facebook page, marketplace, and it was just for $10. And so that was yesterday, and a guy sent me a message this morning and said, "Yeah, I'll buy it." So he is on his way to buy this old pitchfork. Kind of like a rock rake. I'm trying to get some of the spider webs off. Probably should do that. But I don't know. I mean, it could be worth more than that, but it's better than scrapping it, that's for sure. So made a couple dollars off of that 14 tine fork, that pitchfork. It was cool. Met some really nice couple from Rockford. So yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all about communicating and talking with awesome people. So now I'm going to spend some time separating and just handling some of this mess that's starting. So once I get it separated and categorized, it is able to get returned. So yeah, I'm going to take apart a few of those fans and whatever else. Man, I'm starting to get quite a collection of lawn equipment. So got to get those running and get those things sold. So yeah, the that fork was sold off of a Facebook marketplace. So, and I like that because it's just person to person, cash, you know, hand to hand. So yeah, good stuff. So it's Labor Day, and I was just thinking that it was Memorial Day 3 months ago that I very first went to a scrapyard. Yeah. So all this stuff has been 3 months in the making. Not a bad summer, you know. It's been interesting and quite the learning curve. Woo! I mean, not just in scrapping, but in YouTube. And I set up my YouTube channel at the beginning of May because I was recycling pallets, which I've done that for a few years. Just never did the scrapping thing. So yeah, it was Memorial Day weekend that I first found a barbecue on the side of the road, and I remember watching. It was one of the scrapper channels about barbecues, and so I'm like, man, I'm gonna load it up. And then I had to look online to find a scrapyard, and I've never actually been through the scrapyard weigh-in process and how that all works. And so anyway, yeah, so this is like the wrap up. It feels like the wrap up of a pretty wild, scrappy summer. So yeah, so I sold that rake today for $10. You know, it's not bad for something you just find, and sold it outright for $10. A lot better than scrapping it for, I don't know, under $1 probably. And it was still good, you know. And like I always say, the lowest form of a product is scrap. If I can get rid of it anything higher than that, that's great. But everything, you know, this whole thing's a learning process. You know, it's funny. I get these comments on Facebook. You missed this. You missed that. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. You know, it's like, you know, if I could bring you into my world, you know, of electronics for 3 months and see how well you do, how perfect you are, you know. And I'm not about perfection today. I am about improvement. You know, I'm about progress, not perfection. And sometimes my progress is slow. Sometimes I forget, whatever. So I'm not wrapped up about it today. So I don't really respond to those comments very, very much. So, all right. Well, we'll see what else we can find. Like not get hit here. I see some scrappage. Should stop and ask this guy. Bunch of aluminum to me. Yep. Yeah, it might be magnetic. Yeah, it looks like there's rust to it. But check with my magnet. I've not seen too many gutters that are steel, but I'm maybe. Yeah, they're all steel. Well, actually, I think I'm gonna leave that one alone because the scrapyards aren't open today. That's really bulky, so I might come back and get it later. I know it's the little things in life, but I just scrapped a refrigerator a couple of days ago, and now I have a refrigerator light. Ta-da! So yes, I'm quite happy. Not happy with the lack of food in the fridge, but I'm happy there's a light now. Haha. It's all about the little things. Gratitude and no expectations. That's what it's all about.
Now,
I don't know if you guys have watched J. Cray at all, but it's pretty awesome.
real quickly.
Entertaining as can be. So I was just talking to a friend of mine about how much scrapping makes, and I make, I don't know, $400 or $500 a month all told, and probably 15 hours a week, you know, so it's a part-time gig. and it doesn't pay that well. But that's not the way I look at it. I look at it as a hobby that pays. So,
shout out to security, man. That was awesome.
security didn't get him. So,
All right, guys. This is come to an end. The van is packed. I got a bunch of goodies from Five Below. And
you guys crack me up. You spend any time watching Jay Cray. That's some good stuff. So, Big Shane's going to go cut my hair. So I'm excited. I just brought the chair downstairs and the extension cord. He's going to cut my hair right on Lincoln Highway. So, yeah, I'm getting distracted with Jay Cray.
He needs to tell us what we're gonna do with stuff.
yeah, I mean, if you want to go get your own stuff and donate it, feel free.
We do the right thing. We're good people.
We do good things. We're good people, and
Anywho,
Alright, and with that being said, you guys, this ends it for this dive right now. We might be back later, you never know.
Yeah.
But go for
for
it,
now,
baby.
don't forget.
Stay wild, stay cray.
All right, guys.
I'll just work on the top now. I'll do the sides.
Shane breaking out the clippers.
I'm gonna fix them up.
My head is jacked up. Make me handsome.
It's gonna take more than a haircut. Time to get up.
Oh, is that your?
Yep. Time. Quit being a sorry ass.
All right.
Get up. Alarm clock. Turn this
I
off.
think it's time.
So we're gonna take it all the way
Send
down
money.
to nothing, huh?
Whatever, however you want to do it, man. Okay. However, I'm game.
I ain't gonna do that way.
All right.
I got Paul a haircut. He looks nicer now, not so blatantly homeless.
How's it look? Blatantly homeless. Mildly homeless, but not blatantly
Yeah.
homeless. Let me give you a haircut?
No, I'm good, man.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. Thank you.
I can hook you up.
I appreciate that. I really do. But no, I'm good.
What, because I got that crooked eye?
That could be it. That could be it.
I didn't even notice that.
Swallowed up by an empty tomb. You know, all kinds of people here are finding that kind of victory, that kind of freedom. And they know that the only way that they are experiencing freedom these days is because God made a way. He supernaturally led them through their sea of addictions and fear and dysfunction to a much better place on the other side.
I lost my wife. I lost my career. I lost my physical looks and abilities. I lost my mind, all due to drugs. When I first started taking drugs, it felt good. You know, I was being led by the drugs. What happened shortly after that is I lost a bunch of weight. I lost probably 100 pounds, and people started to notice that I was on drugs. And I started to slowly lose my mind. My moral compass was completely off. You know, some of the things that I would do was to pretend to go on a business trip for a couple of days. And really what I was doing was spending a couple of days and doing drugs in the Las Vegas hotels. And then once the money was out, I would come back pretending as if I came back from a business trip. My wife at the time, she believed me. She would believe the lies that I would say because I was normally a decent guy. But when the drugs took over and the alcohol and the gambling took over, I would lie constantly. And she would believe it at first. And then she started noticing these patterns. And it didn't take long before she took the children and left for Illinois. And I stayed in Las Vegas. And that's when I spent the next couple of years a homeless drug addict that I turned to being a petty thief. I would live out in the desert in a tent with some other drug addicts, and we would go from the desert and steal stuff from Walmart and different retail stores, and we would sell those products in the parking lot of these places just to get enough drug money to get the drugs, scurry back into the desert, and spend days in the desert high on drugs. The trigger moment that occurred was when I would sit out in the desert and I would just think about my children. What are my children doing right now? What are they thinking? Are they being protected? Are they being cared for and loved? And I just asked God, I said, God, I have nothing left. I have literally nothing left. And what do you have for me? I'll follow you any way you want me to do this. To me, it was pretty bizarre. He wanted me to go to the mission in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Rescue Mission. And I made it there, and that's when I really felt this was the beginning of a journey, and it really was. Every single night at 7 o'clock, they would have people come in and preach at their chapel services, and half of it was worship music. And being a musician in my late teens and early 20s, it really brought back the worship in me to really, because I never worshiped God before. So at that time, it was 2 weeks of wonderful worship. I didn't feel any withdrawals whatsoever. I took my latest veteran disability check, and I flew from Las Vegas to O'Hare Airport. And I had no idea what to do there. I just knew that God said, go ahead and do it. So I landed on O'Hare, no plan, no nothing. And over the intercom, I hear that there's a bus leaving for Rockford. And I don't know if I ever knew where Rockford was. So I asked the lady, I said, what is the area code for Rockford? She said 815. And I knew that was the same area code as my children. I took the bus from O'Hare to Rockford, and that's where I made it to the Rockford Rescue Mission. And I spent a year and a half at the Rockford Rescue Mission really working on my moral inventory, working on the things that made drugs okay, and had everything shift from drugs as a coping skill to the reality of God and what He wants for my life, and those truths, the truths of who God is. And it took that full 18 months of me living at the Rockford Rescue Mission for the truths to sink in of who I am in Christ, and for me to give my talents away. And the wonderful thing now is that I give back to God. I give back to the mission. I give back to my church. I play in the worship band here at Celebrate Recovery, and sometimes even the weekend services. I didn't fully know that God was with me until after the fact, until I started looking back at those times. I'm like, God was with me at this point. God was with me at this pinnacle moment. And it took the retrospective look for me to really realize that God's with me. And now I can recognize it in today, is that, I know God's with me in this particular moment. I know it because He's done it over and over and time again.